Today I'm going to be doing a little swatchy swatch of the newest Violet Voss palette. This is the Drenched Metal palette. I have so much new stuff that I want to show you guys and talk about and all that jazz, and I'm super pumped to do it, but this is one that I'm really excited about. So first thing I want to talk about is the packaging. This packaging is cardboard packaging, but it's thin as F, and that's a good thing. It has magnetic closure, and I like it because it is so thin. And I mean, I don't like clunky, bulky packaging ever, but I also like it because while it is exactly the same as the other palette, all their palettes are kind of the same packaging, it does say on the outside the name of the palette, so it's kind of got that sleek look, but you know what you're looking for. Overall, I mean, I do like it. I like that it's magnetic closure and that it's so thin. When you open it up, you do have a mirror. It's kind of, I mean, it works, but you're gonna have to hold it up. It needs what I like to refer to as palette Viagra because it needs something to help it stay up, otherwise it's just going to go flat. There are 20 eyeshadows here, and the tops are kind of pinks, and then there's some blues. There's definitely some browns going on too. There's a purple shade, not beautiful purples. There's one beautiful purple shade, but it's got like an interesting kind of mix of colors going on here. It's not too much of one thing, it's not too much of anything else. There's only one matte shade, and I think it might be more of a satin, and that's Secret. Midnight Tryst is also less shimmery, but for the most part, this is a frosty, like Elsa Frosty, the snowman. You could go like get a snow cone with the amount of frost in this palette. I'm just saying, I like a good balance. You know, I'm always one that likes to see a little bit of this and a little bit of that. This one is all frostiness. So you're probably, if you're like me, you're gonna need something to balance it out. When I did my look today, which I will have a tutorial up probably later this week, I definitely had to use another palette. I used the Urban Decay Gwen palette to kind of just have a transitioning color, have a highlight color, because I personally like to have some frostiness and then other areas be more on the matte side. So I did have to kind of balance that out. That's not a bad thing. Every palette, you know, doesn't need to be all-encompassing. Sometimes you just want one thing or another. That's not necessarily saying that that's a knock to this palette. It's just, when I'm using this, I need something else to kind of balance out the frostiness. So let's go through and talk about all of the colors really quick, and I will show you swatches and all that jazz. The first shade is called Poppin. Poppin is an ultra frosty pink. It's a very light pink, and it has a little bit of a golden shimmer to it. You don't really see that in the pan, but when you swatch it, you can definitely see this beautiful sheen of gold come out from it. It's really pretty. The next shade is Kisses. Kisses is a bit darker than Poppin. It's definitely got more of like a cooler frosty tone to it. It has like a silvery tone to it, and it's just a few shades darker, but it's still that kind of light pink. Next is Confession. Confession is more, it's a peachy, almost like a bubblegum pink, and it has a bit of a peachy orangey duochrome going on, like a coral duochrome. All of these so far have been frost, by the way. I'll tell you if it's anything different. The next color is Crushed It. This is a coppery, a light coppery shade, very, very smooth, got lots of cool pigment, and it has a nice shimmer. And then the last for this row is Secret. Secret is a warm medium brown. It's definitely a matte. It has a little bit of a satininess to it, but that's not really gonna show up when you apply it. Okay, second row. First shade is called I'm So Fancy, and let me just say, like the second I opened this palette, the angels sung and they came from this particular color. I want like jewelry, all of my life to be this color. Beautiful jewel tone blue. I've got it on my lids right now. It's really cool because it's one of those shades where you can really play it up, you know, do like a whole blue look, or like I have, where it's very focused in this look, but it's not overwhelming. The next shade is Mermaid Vixen. Mermaid Vixen is a really cool color too. It's like a steel blue. It's got some gray tones in it, and it has a very soft green duochrome. It's a really interesting color. The next shade is Grunge, which I actually have on the outer corners here. Grunge is a medium chocolate brown. It has like a copper shimmer to it. The next shade is Minx. Minx is definitely more of a coppery shade than Grunge. It's very, very metallic, like a penny. It's like a penny shade. Then the last for this row is Squad Goals. Squad Goals is, if Minx was like a penny, Squad Goals is like that new penny, that like fresh from the mint penny. It is super, super copper, super orangey, beautiful, but definitely not Minx. I'm like thinking of like a penny that you find like in your bag, you know what I mean? But Squad Goals is like that new shiny penny. Third row, first color is called Frisky. Frisky is this beautiful cobalt blue, and it's just got this great metallicness going on. It's got this beautiful shimmer to it, and it's just really pigmented. It's very, very pretty. Next we have Dark Desires, which is another one that I was like, yes! This is, oh my gosh, beautiful purple, very, very vibrant. I do wish it was just a touch darker. It is a little bit light for me. I mean, it's not light. I wish it was just a touch darker, like if the undertone, the base color was just a little bit darker with more bright shimmer, so that it seemed like it had more depth. The next shade is Slaycation. Slaycation is another like really different color. It's got like a brown base with a green duochrome to it, but then it has some gray in it. It's a very unique color. It's really cool. And then we have Come Through. Come Through is a buttery golden yellow, really nice. It's got pretty good pigmentation. And then the last shade in this row is Livin'. Livin' is an orangey red, definitely a lot of red tones going on here, but it is more orangey, coppery, peachy color than anything else. Okay, last row, first color is called Shade. So Shade is a slate gray, but it has some violet-y undertones to it. It's really cool, and you can really, once you swatch it, you can really see that kind of violet-y base it has. And that's another one that's really kind of cool. Very, very unique. It's colors you don't see every day, and that's what I love in palettes. It makes me so happy when you see like different colors like that. And then we have Bliss. Bliss is another one that's pretty unique. It's a green, it's like a mossy green, but it's very metallic. It almost is like, sort of like an old gold shade. Very cool, another one that's really, really unique. Then we have Huntress. Huntress is a reddish brown, lots of metallic vibes going on there with a really cool reddish overlay, reddish shimmer going on. Then we have Forbidden. Forbidden is another really beautiful, it's almost like a ruby shade. It's got really beautiful metallic foiled kind of finish. It's got like a nice shimmer, and it's a really neat jewel toned ruby shade. And then the last shade is Midnight Tryst. This is by far the darkest color here. This color is definitely like a charcoal shade. It is not a true black. It is not the blackest black shade by any means necessary, but it's a nice smoky shade. When I used it today, I just took a blending brush and just dotted it in there and used it to just darken up the outer corners just a tiny, tiny bit. And that's what I feel like it works best as. I feel like if it was the darkest, most pigmented black shade ever, it'd be too much. So I kind of really appreciate that it's more of a charcoaly shade and not overly pigmented. So overall, I really do like this palette a lot. It is very, very shimmery, very frosty, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But the colors are great. The pigmentation is really cool. There's a lot of really unique shades. There's only a couple here that I'm like, I wish that they pushed it to the next level. Dark Desires, the purple is the main one that's coming to mind, where I just am like, it's beautiful, but I wish that it had a little bit of depth and it felt like more. Like, I wish it looked like what it probably looks like if I swatched it on black base. Does that make sense? I just want it to be even more amazing than it is, a step further. If you're looking to get some really pretty colors and to just kind of try out bright colors, this is a great palette for that because it gives you those options, but it also has a lot of neutrally easier to wear colors, so you can do something like, you know, what I did, where you're incorporating them but not going like full on clownola makeup kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, I do like this. I'm gonna recommend it, give it thumbs ups, and I will have a tutorial on this look. If not this week, then next week for sure. So I will see you guys next time.